In my last video I go through all of the budget gear I bought for under £250 to start hiking and camping. So now my plan is to start testing some of this gear, and though I'd like to test out my tent and sleep system, November in Northumberland probably isn't the sensible time to do this. So my first step was to look through the All Trails app to see if I could find a suitable trail for a day hike. I found this Hethpool East Tor and Hare Law Circular hike, which is just over 15 kilometres and should take around 4 hours and 44 minutes. It starts in College Valley, where I head east before a steep ascent to Easter Tor, the first of the 3 mountain summits. Next is an hour's hike west to Wester Tor, before a shorter journey across to Hare Law, before descending back into College Valley and heading east back to the start of the trail in Hethpool. I checked the forecast for a decent day's weather, booked the day off work, and I was good to go. So I put on my Blue Trail shoes, boarded my Hyundai and drove 50 miles north to the village of Hethpool in the College Valley area of Northumberland National Park. I arrived in the car park at 10 AM, giving myself 5 hours to complete the hike in order to get home at a sensible time. A short walk from the car park was this bridge over the College Burn and the starting point of the trail. After a simple enough start on the trail, I soon ran into some boggy terrain. I managed to get through this with 2 dry feet, but around this time when I ran into this waterfall, I decided to check the All Trails app. I somehow had 5 hours 10 minutes left on a trail which was supposed to take 4 hours and 44 minutes. This meant I had to up my pace, and any hope of testing out my stove had disappeared. After passing through this small forest, the steep ascent towards Easter Tor began. Physically, this was the most difficult part of the hike, but eventually I made it to the top and reached Easter Tor. Next in store was an hour's hike to Wester Tor. In terms of scenery, there wasn't too much to see, so I've sped this part up. By the time I hit the 2-hour mark, I'd reached the second summit, Wester Tor. The journey across to Hare Law was a half-hour trudge on this rugged terrain. I made it to Hare Law, took a quick snap of this impressive cairn, and it was time to start making my descent. It was along this path where I was given the fright of my life by one of the local birds. Around the 3-hour mark, I reached the end of this fence and started a steep section which took me back towards civilization. Despite taking my time, this was brutal on the knees and ankles. Eventually I reached the bottom of the valley and got my feet back on solid ground. But before long I was heading back on the trail through a variety of terrains. Fortunately by this point I'd made up a lot of time so I could relax and enjoy the remainder of the walk. Eventually I arrived back at the bridge where the trail started. All in all I was a bit sore, but I'd hiked 10.4 miles, just under 17 kilometers, walked 24,471 steps and completed the trail in a time of 4 hours and 36 minutes. Other than being a test physically, this is also a good test of my new trail runners, and they held up perfectly throughout the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do me a favour and give it a like and also subscribe to the channel.